Hi, welcome to the Holism video blog, and today I'm going to be giving you an autonomic nervous system stimulation along with an explosive drill that's designed to help you get the most out of your strength training. Now, in resistance training or any kind of strength training, fatigue is a big factor. So available willpower or available volitional drive that you have at any given moment in a training session is also a big determining factor in how many repetitions you actually manage to complete in any given set. Now, anybody who has trained resistance training will know from experience that as you fatigue, the number of repetitions that you're able to complete for any given exercise will typically tend to fall away or reduce as your session progresses. Now, the muscles that you have volitional control over are muscles of the somatic nervous system. Now, the somatic nervous system makes up about 10 to 15% of total brain output. Now, that's not a huge amount, so that basically means that the brain has a heap of energy, 85 to 90% of its energy directed elsewhere. So when you're training, trying to give it absolutely everything you can, you're really only able to tap into 10 to 15% of the available brain output. Now, that makes it hugely important to be able to make sure that your focus and your available willpower is 100% directed towards the somatic nervous system. Now, we can do that by introducing sympathetic nervous system stimulations. Now, the sympathetic nervous system is a division of the autonomic nervous system, and it's what takes care of fight or flight. So most people are well aware of that. Most people are aware that your sympathetic nervous system, when it's stimulated, will get an increase in cortisol. Now, that is true, but when it comes to strength training, it's also true that muscle spindles, the spindles of the somatic nervous system, are actually in part innervated by the sympathetic nervous system as well. So stimulating it, we can get a direct boost to the available output of the muscles in the somatic nervous system. So we'll use a sympathetic nervous system stimulation. We'll also use an explosive drill. Now, the sympathetic nervous system stimulation that we're going to make use of is really simple. We're just going to try and harness two processes that the sympathetic nervous system takes care of, and they are... So one really quick correction to this video is that pupil constriction is actually the body's response to an increase in sympathetic tone. So when you look at bright light, which you're doing in this video, doing as a result of having watched this video, then the sympathetic tone in the body increases, and in response to that, the body's homeostatic mechanisms, in this case the parasympathetic nervous system, constricts the pupils to try and reduce the amount of light coming into the body, and thereby bringing the body back towards balance. So you're increasing your sympathetic nervous system tone by looking at bright light, by sniffing strongly and making use of bronchodilation. But pupil constriction is not taken care of by the sympathetic nervous system. It's actually a parasympathetic response to an increase in sympathetic nervous system tone. I hope that helps. Pupil constriction and bronchodilation. So if you look into a bright light, you'll get a sympathetic nervous system stimulation, or you'll cue the sympathetic nervous system to activate. When you breathe in really, really strongly, once again, you're forcing air into the lungs and your bronchioles begin to dilate. So that is another sympathetic nervous system stimulation. So what I'm going to get you to do is really simple. I'm going to get you just to look at a light, any light, and breathe in really strongly through your nose. Now, the reason we're going to breathe in strongly through the nose rather than the mouth, so often we'll use the nose for parasympathetic breathing, but it's the intensity of the inhalation that is going to give us that sympathetic nervous system stimulation. When you breathe strongly through the nose, you're also firing the diaphragm, which is then going to give us an increase in core recruitment. It's going to give us an increase in stability. And when that happens, muscles of the periphery are going to disassociate from the spine. They're going to function more freely. You're going to have a greater range of movement available, but it means you'll also have a slight increase in function, and that's beneficial. So we'll work with looking up to a light and then look, and basically sniff as strongly as you can. Now, you're going to do that 3 to 5 times. I find with this stimulation, I'll use it at the end, in my last set, or I'll use it at the beginning of a set where I know it's a real battle, or it's touch and go, whether I'm actually going to be able to lift the weights into their starting position. So by getting yourself up for the lift, you'll have hopefully 100% of your available volitional drive able to activate the muscles of the sympathetic nervous system, and then you can you can commence your set, go as far as you possibly can. Now, the explosive drill we're going to make use of is post-activation potentiation in reverse. So in the previous video, we talked about PAP, or post-activation potentiation, and how we were using biomechanically coupled exercises, or biomechanically similar exercises, to potentiate muscles with a strength exercise, and then use that potentiation in explosive exercise. Now that also works in reverse. It is more effective to use the strength drill first and potentiate the muscles for the plyometric or the explosive exercise, but it does work in reverse. So by stacking these three stimuli together, we can gain an accumulated boost into the output of the nervous system, and that translates into more repetitions in your set. So I'm going to get you guys to do a stomp. So the stomp will look a little something like this. Find yourself a mat. You'll note that I'm in bare feet, so I'm standing on a mat. If I have shoes on, then you can take any surface you want. You're going to grip a bar or a post or a door frame, something that's going to give you some stability, something that you can actually irradiate tension through the body, and then you can recruit intra-abdominal pressure as you blow. So from here, I'm going to exhale quite strongly. I'm going to brace my core, lift the knee up, and I'm going to drive my foot down to the floor. Not into the floor, not through the floor, to the floor. So we want a mild jolt. We're not looking for injury. So if you're not sure, if proprioceptively you're not 100% sure of where your foot is in space, then you want to drill this one a couple of times first. You don't want to you don't want to throw clients into this one and have them drive their foot into the floor and hurt themselves. So you need to make sure that you know exactly where your leg length is and how far you're driving down. I'm not driving through the floor, once again. So from here, grip nice and strongly, pull the knee up, neutral spine, breathe, pursed lips, and again, you're going to do 3 to 5 repetitions. Now the beauty of that one, the beauty of the reverse post-activation potentiation, is that you don't require the lengthy rest times in between, so you can pretty much go straight into your sets. So for an exercise like a stomp that I've just done, squats, deadlifts will be fantastic, so you'll get a boost out of those. Now I've used these types of stimulations for a number of years, and they're pretty much always effective in getting 1 to 3 more repetitions in that last set when you know that you're probably going to be failing and fatiguing. So choose choose wisely where you integrate these stimulations. I recommend in sets that are towards the end of your session, or the last set of a given exercise, or say for something like myself, an incline chest press with heavy dumbbells where you know you're going to really have to work hard to get the dumbbells into position if you don't have a spotter. So getting yourself up for that can get the dumbbells into position more quickly, more easily. You've got more energy than available for the actual lift. So enjoy that one, use it wisely, and let us know how you get on.